Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you so much for attending today's webinar. My name is Emily Brinkman, and I'm a product manager for the mobile app here at Map My Customers. It looks like most of you are users of our platforms, but for those who aren't, MMC is a tool designed specifically to help sales reps in the field be more productive and fill the gaps in their day. So I'll go ahead and outline today's agenda. So today we want to highlight changes we've made to the product, really to make it as easy as possible to use on the go. After walking you through some of our recent updates, I want to give you all a sneak peek of upcoming features, including offline capabilities, as well as check-in activities. And then I also will save some time at the end to answer any questions you might have. Feel free to send them in throughout the webinar into the chat box, and I will save 5 to 10 minutes at the end and try to address all of them. So before we jump in, I really want to emphasize that all of these changes are really based on feedback from you. We're hoping this webinar leads to even more conversations with our users, so we can continue to work towards our goal of better meeting your needs as field salesmen and women. A poll is now going to ask you if you have any interest in a future conversation with our product team to discuss ideas, share feedback, and if interested, you can select yes, and if not, no worries. I think this webinar will still show you a lot and be beneficial. And then the last slide in the slide deck includes my email address if you prefer for me to reach out to us instead. Is everyone able to hear me clearly? Raise your hand if you are able to hear me clearly. Oh, you cannot. Okay. So it looks like most can. Let me try to make it a little bit better. Okay. So does that work better? Okay. All right, so I'll send out the poll. I'll give you about 30 seconds here to answer. Okay. Thank you everyone for participating. And if you selected yes, our product team will be sure to reach out to you for future conversations. Thank you. Okay, so now let's dive in. Okay, so over the past year, we've really made it a priority to have many conversations with users, like I said, to really get a sense of what you need from an outside sales app. And some common themes from these conversations were identified. Put simply, the app needed to be faster and easier to navigate in order to better fit the needs of an outside salesman. So as one user explained, a field salesman might have 30 minutes between visits for him to drive to and prepare for his next meeting. He wants to be able to open the Map My Customers app, take a note about the meeting he just had, maybe look up previous notes for the next meeting for conversation points, while also getting directions to the next stop, all within, a 30-second time period. So based on the feedback, with this sentiment, we got to work figuring out how to make key functionality, think things like routes, lead gen, records, and activities, all accessible from a central location. This research led to the development of our home screen. Here you can see on the screen. I'm now gonna switch to a live demo. Bear with me. One second. That was my cat there. Sorry about the background change. Okay, so as you can see, this is the home screen. And the main goal here was to simplify and reduce the number of actions you're presented with upon login, while also ensuring that all key features are easily accessible. So around the same time that we introduced the new home screen, we also released the new navigation menu where we provide access to home, maps, routes, and records. Settings was previously available in the main navigation menu. It's now available at the top of the screen next to the universal add button. So our users expressed the need to check their phone quickly before or after a meeting so they can view notes about prospects for relevant talking points. To meet this need, we included a search bar at the top of the screen so users can quickly navigate to company, people, deals, activities just by simply searching in the search bar. Pulls up the record. Quick and fast. Lower on the page, or on the screen, we have the what do you want to do section. And this includes quick links to key functionality like open routes, find leads, add record, add activity. This previously took longer to access. For example, for lead gen, it took at least 3 taps to access, whereas now, you can navigate there in one. Just really quickening the process and allowing you to achieve what you want to achieve in a quicker way. Similarly, routes are central to the app experience. We know that, and we want to make it as easy as possible for you to access, which is why we provided links on both the home screen and within the main navigation menu. Another recurring sentiment that we heard during user interviews was the need to quickly access activities and notes. And to address this first need, we included a recent activities section directly on the home screen here at the bottom. And this section displays your most recently created activities. And the reasoning behind this decision was because some of our users create activities retroactively, while others create future dated activities. So we wanted this section to be helpful for both use cases. And then here at the top, you see, of the recent activity section, there's a quick link to add an activity also within the what do you want to do. So, on the go, you can quickly record your activities, which is something that our users really expressed that they wanted to be able to accomplish. So, keeping along the same lines of, improving navigation to and within key app sections, we also updated records. So in order to access records, you can navigate to records on the main navigation menu. I'll go ahead and take us there. And here we are, record list view. So record list view includes 4 tabs to house your companies, people, deals, and activities. We simplified the look and feel of this section while also incorporating quick links to route, call, email directly next to each record. Previously, these actions were hidden within an ellipsis menu. So now they're right at the forefront, right there for you to see. We also wanted to make it much easier to add a record. So now add company, add people, add deals, add activities are right at the top right corner of the screen, which is very difficult to miss. So it's much more prominent for users to be able to create a new record. One second here. Oh, I just got a message that the demo is currently frozen, so I'm going to stop share and reshare. Okay. Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay. So on to record view. So record list view provides access to your record details. So we can tap into one. Let's tap into Taco Bell. Okay, and so we updated record view for companies, people, deals, and activities with a new design. And we focused on ensuring that it would be a smooth transition and easy to adapt to. There's less scrolling, fewer empty fields displayed, and gives space to the most immediately needed information up top. So, previously when you tapped into a record, it would open edit mode where you could make changes. We wanted to give you a separate view and edit mode, so empty fields would be collapsed, and view mode and changes wouldn't accidentally be made. Let's take a look at, supposedly it is frozen again. So I think I'm just gonna switch to the photo to give you an idea. So I'm gonna switch back to the deck since phone share doesn't seem to be working very well. Here we go. So this will be more consistent. So record view is here on the right side of the screen. So like I said, there's quick links to route, call, email, 3 tabs, activities, relationships, details, quick links to add an activity, add a note. Company record view includes the company name, address, quick actions. We wanted to include this important functionality as at the top so users can quickly accomplish what they want to accomplish. The rest of record view is organized into these 3 tabs. First here we have the activities tab, and separating these sections into the 3 tabs made it more compact and easier to navigate without the excessive scrolling. Within the activity tab, you can view, add, and manage the activities, notes, and files associated within a particular company. And we included the activity tab because time and time again during our user interviews, we heard that users navigate to records to view attached notes and activities. So if they want to call, email, or route to the company, they can use these quick links at the top of the screen, but they more rarely need to access details, which is why we decided to put activities first and move, information, contact information, and personal details to the last tab. And so far, based on user interviews, it's been a good decision just because of that quick access to activities and notes, being able to pull it up before a meeting. Within the relationships tab, you can view and manage the parent company, people, deals, groups, and routes associated with a particular company. This information was available previously, but it was somewhat buried, and now it's right available on its own separate tab, and you can tap into an associated record and view its record view as well. So navigating to and from records is much easier and allows you to go from an activity to the associated company without hesitation. Within the details tab, you can view and edit the company's personal information, address details, and custom fields. So this is company record view. The record views for people, deals, and activities are fairly consistent with company record view, although there's some minor variations just depending on the record type. but each employ the new design with attached notes and activities at the forefront. So these are our recent updates. I now want to pause for questions if you want to submit them into the box. I would love to share 2 new features with you that are in the pipeline, but wanted to give you a couple seconds to enter any questions you might have about the recent updates. Okay, great. So we will now move on to offline capabilities. So we know how crucial it is for our app to be able to function while our users are on the road with spotty service or Wi-Fi. So we are excited to share that we will very soon have support for offline capabilities. Before I explain how it will work, I want to provide a bit more background just about our research. So when researching offline capabilities, we asked users which apps they thought had the most successful offline modes. And time again, Spotify and YouTube were brought up because you can prepare and make both apps almost completely functional when lacking service or Wi-Fi. So our ultimate goal is to offer an offline mode as robust as Spotify's or YouTube's. But the best way for us to achieve this is by introducing offline capabilities incrementally. So to start, I'm excited to share that we will be offering the ability to create records while offline. And here comes in the screenshot. So users can enable offline mode within settings. We have a screenshot of that here on the left. And when enabled, users can create up to 100 records, which include companies, people, deals, and activities while on the road without service or Wi-Fi. So if you can see the link here, so the little link under the offline mode it demonstrates the number of records that you created in offline mode, and you can tap that and view it in list view, allowing you to see all the records that have yet to sync. So when you return to online mode, it will actually, these records will automatically sync, but we also have a manual sync button in case, it's functioning off that day. Our offline capability will allow you to associate a record with another record even when offline. So for example, say you're on the road in a rural area without cell reception, but need to record an activity. Our offline capability allows you to create the activity and associate it with an existing company, person, deal, despite not having service. So records created in offline mode, will automatically be synced when the user returns. And, we think that this capability is extremely powerful. And while there are still other capabilities to be introduced, we had to pick a place to start and build up from there. And we will continue to take incremental steps so that existing records are also viewable, but this will not be a part of the initial release. But we are so excited and feel very strongly that the creation of records while on the road, while offline, will really better enable our users when they return to the field. So we're really excited about that. Again, let's pause for questions. I'm going to take a look and see what the questions were from over the last section. I'll take a look right now. Bear with me for a second while I read through some questions. So I see one, does the offline mode turn on automatically, or do you have to go in and turn it on when you lose service? So offline mode, you have to enable within settings, but you can enable it one time and it'll always be enabled. So then whenever you enter an offline area, it will successfully work and you will be able to create those records. Let's look at something else. So a question, what do you signify as activities versus notes? So this is really up to the user, but what we have seen most commonly is that activities are events. So say you go and visit your customer, or say you call your customer, and then you can take a note about an activity or any other record, but the note provides context. So or provides you with future talking points. So say you have a meeting with an in-person customer, and you want to remember the name of their children, just for talking points the next time you meet. Entering that in as a note can provide you context and helpful talking points for your next activity. A question about filtering. When will it be working for mapping routes? So filtering is something that we are going to focus on this year. I can't promise you a date, but that is definitely something we will be researching and looking at, and we'll keep you posted on. Okay. All right, so let's move on. Continue to enter any questions. Okay, so later this year, we are looking forward to bringing you more and more functionality. So I wanted to show you something that is still under wraps, but we hope to have by the end of the year. And it is the concept of a check-in activity. Essentially, a check-in activity gives you the ability to create an activity with the company, date, and time, as well as the activity type pre-filled based on your location and the time that you tap check-in. So here on the home screen, you see the check-in button. This check-in button will be available here within the quick links section on the home screen, as well as company record view and activity record view screen. Our current offering of auto visits are still very useful for behind the scenes tracking. But in contrast, check-in is user-driven and allows your team to really level up your activities. It expedites the process of reporting an activity for reps while also adding a layer of accountability, since managers can see whether the check-in is reliable or not, meaning that the user was at the company location. And this is all done on the back end. It doesn't disrupt user experience whatsoever. And so the idea of check-in is really centered around the idea of user empowerment. It's not something you have to do. You can still create a normal activity, but it's something that makes you feel better when going about your day. Another benefit of the feature is that it encourages users to log important notes following a check-in, as users are prompted with a notification. So it also serves as a helpful reminder. It makes it easier to take the note because, the call to action is right there. So just to provide a use case, so we envision, a sales rep tapping check-in as they walk into a meeting, have their meeting, and then select the take notes call to action as they're leaving to provide that context around the meeting for future follow-ups. It makes the ad activity process more seamless and reliable while remaining user-driven, which is really our ultimate goal. And in terms of functionality, it is either you choose auto visits or you choose check-in, and so it is one or the other. Um, but it's really up to the team if they want that back-end tracking or if they want that user forward, creation of checking into an activity. Are there any questions about check-in? Can everyone see the screenshots? Someone just responded saying they can see the cursor moving, but no pictures. Does raising hand means you can see it? Okay, good. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so are there any more questions? I'll leave a few minutes to ask questions. I'll give you another minute to ask questions and then I'll go through them. So a question was, did you say that your records are available offline? So in phase one of our offline capabilities, record details are not viewable offline, but you are able to associate a new record with an existing record, but you cannot view that existing record's details. But we do understand, the value of that, and we are, now that we have that base technology, working towards eventually being able to offer that type of functionality. There's a lot of great feedback here as well. One attendee suggested that during a search, account name, if it is not exact, will not pull up. Is there a way to ease this search? That's definitely the type of feedback we're looking for, and something I'll take back to my team. So thank you for that. So will these types of check-ins show up as different activity type in reporting? So by default, they're going to just be a visit, but from the back end in terms of reporting, you will be able to tell if it's a check-in activity because it will have an additional column marking it as reliable or unreliable based on the user's location when they tap check-in. So it will be reliable if their location matches the company that they're checking into, and it will be marked as unreliable if it does not. So, but you can check into any activity type. So you can check into an email if you'd like, but I think the use case will primarily be for in-person type visits. Will the map features show my location on the map? A previous version, I had always showed my location and then an update was done and it no longer worked. This is something I'll definitely look into. It should always show your current location, especially when you tap the current location icon on the map screen in the bottom right corner. So maybe try that again and get in touch with our support team if that doesn't work for you. Thank you, though. Are there any plans to have an admin dashboard on the mobile version? That's definitely something we've explored and will continue to explore. Nothing in the works yet, but the feedback that we've gotten about the web dashboard has been very positive. So we'll definitely be exploring these ideas in the future. I'll go through once more to make sure I didn't miss any. I see a question here. Is there a way to tie my Gmail with Map? If you want to clarify that question a little bit, if you're talking about calendar sync, it is possible, and it's possible to sync your activities with your MMC account. Okay. Are there any other questions before I give you some of your morning back? All right, well, thank you so much for joining. Again, my email is, I'll put it on the last slide, right here. So feel free to reach out to us if you're interested in providing feedback or want to have a conversation with our product team. We'll also take a look at the poll to see if you have interest in a conversation, someone will reach out to you. But I really appreciate your time. Again, your feedback is very, very appreciated, and we're excited about these upcoming features. So thank you. Bye, everyone.